This is Dimensions in Parapsychology, and I'm Bryce Bond. My co-hostess today, Zolma Rayo, is still in Argentina. Our guest is a most unusual man. Now, some call him a prophet, a philosopher, or a cosmic prankster. He has great courage in what he says, and you may not agree with it. He indicates that mind is a myth. His name is U.G. Krishnamurti, no relation to J. Krishnamurti. U.G. creates an atmosphere of what we like to call mental aerobics. He's got your mind dancing. He provokes anger, frustration, challenge. Some say he's either a madman or a genius. Well, let's meet our guest, U.G. Krishnamurti. This is the book. It's called The Mystique of Enlightenment. It was written by Alvin J. Bobroff. It's a fantastic book, and at the end of the program, we're going to give you the telephone number and where you can get this book. It's all about our guest today, U.G. Krishnamurti. U.G., I want to welcome you to the program. I know you're a very controversial man, and because you mentioned at one time that mind is a myth.
Yes.
And a lot of people refuse to accept that.
Because it undermines the whole foundation of human thought, which is built on that presumed, assumed, accepted foundation. You see, so they are not ready to accept that, but I don't care whether they accept it or not. I'm not trying to win them over to the point of view that there is no such thing as mind, let alone, you see, changing the mind or bring about a change in the mind or a mutation of mind and so on and so forth. So what I'm interested in is to emphasize what I have discovered for myself and by myself. And
okay, what I'd like to do is go back and begin at the beginning of this discovery. We'd like to make mention that U.G. Krishnamurti is not related to J. Krishnamurti. And around 49 years of age, he was living a fairly normal life in India, came from good parents in India, and something happened. A biological process within his body began to take place, did it not?
Yes, it did, but you see, in my enthusiasm at the very beginning, when I did not know what was happening to me, I felt that it was necessary for me to emphasize and overemphasize the physiological aspect of what they called enlightenment, but not as a psychological thing or as a religious thing. I discovered for myself, and it was a shattering blow to me, that there is no religious content at all in what I stumbled into, and no religious or mystical overtones or undertones. So it was something totally unrelated to what I expected would be the state of an enlightened man was like or is like or whatever the way you put it.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that enlightenment is within every man, that it happens over a period of time?
I'm questioning the very interest in enlightenment, although we have been for centuries brainwashed to believe that there have been many enlightened people. They are trying to enlighten others. Why one should be enlightened? You see, the enlightenment that we are interested in is to be like somebody else, like the spiritual teachers of mankind who talked of enlightenment and who wanted to enlighten others, you see.
Now, basically, when you had this experience, this biological experience, did that go...
I don't want to say that it is biological in contradistinction. That's a very high-sounding word. Anyway,
well, some people would say kundalini or...
To the accepted religious state of mind or as a religious experience. But what I was left with was nothing but the functioning of this physical organism with a tremendous energy of its own. And what we don't realize is that the energy is separate from us, that it is something that we have to bring about as a result of spiritual exercises like meditation, yoga, and all that kind of a thing. But it is something extraordinary, and all forms of life are the manifestations. I don't like to use the word manifestation because it has certain peculiar connotations. It is an expression of life, I would say.
You know something, I'd hate to see you with a dictionary and see what you could do with that. You could probably change...
I don't use dictionary anymore, but we have, thank God, at our disposal.
But usually, they say, you know, the experience that you've had, it seems like a lot of other mystics have had a similar experience. They call the the raising of the serpent fire, the kundalini energy and things of this nature, or cosmic consciousness?
And I think that they are all, you see, nothing but thought-induced experiences. You see, anything you experience, however extraordinary that experience may be, is a petty little experience, and it is, I would go one step ahead and say that it is nothing but a sensual experience, like any other sensual experience. All spiritual experiences I would put in the area of all the other sensual experiences.
Would you say that everyone, say, every human upon this planet eventually will have that experience?
He is already there. What he has to come to terms with, if I may put it that way, is that there is no such thing as new experience at all. And all experiences, however extraordinary they may be, they are very repetitive and they are very tiring. You see, we use tremendous amount of energy to experience the same thing over and over again. That is why we are bored, and we are looking for newer and newer types of experiences. And some of them you classify as spiritual experiences to feel superior, that spiritual experiences are accepted by our civilization or culture or whatever you want to call it as the experiences you should have, and they put them all on a higher level, and that makes us feel and look upon all the other types of experiences as something to be avoided.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you an atheist?
No, when I say that those words don't apply to me, see, because when I say and emphasize that God is irrelevant, it does not mean that I'm an atheist. I'm not even an agnostic, you see. So it is just irrelevant. It's because I consider that God, truth, reality, enlightenment are nothing but the extensions of our pleasure movement. I'm not against pleasure at all. Whether you are an American or an Indian or a Russian or a Chinese, it really doesn't matter where you come from or to which country you belong to. The one thing that everybody is after is pleasure, and he wants that to be permanent. So all these spiritual experiences, including the demand for spiritual experiences, are nothing but an extension of your pleasure movement. So these people, religious teachers particularly, of the past and all those we have in our marketplace
You're
today,
speaking about the gurus, you're speaking about people like Rajneeshas and Muktananda.
All of them are selling shoddy piece of spiritual goods, and what they are selling is nothing but a petty experiences, you see. We fall for that kind of a thing because we are interested in some kind of a comfort, and they are providing the comfort for the people.
What about the TV evangelists that are really...
They must also be put in the same category as all these gurus that the people in this country are importing from abroad, whether it is in Japan or in China or India. You see, there is a demand for that kind of a thing. It is nothing but a demand and supply, you see. You know, wherever there is a demand, there is bound to be a supply. And every time you see you are fed up with a particular teacher or a particular guru or a particular man who is selling a particular type of goodies, you are importing, you see, another kind of a guru offering exactly the same thing but slight variations.
A lot of it's called emotional escapism, where they have to run...
Yes, certainly. It's fashionable these days, you see, to talk about the gurus, you know. Some of those who come to see me say that I have a lawyer, I have a psychiatrist, I have a guru. And so naturally I ask them, what does your guru say? You see, it's considered to be a status symbol these days. I'm very surprised that Americans are also falling for that kind of a thing. That guru is included in the list of those people, like a lawyer, like the accountant, like the psychiatrist. You see, guru has become an integral part are considered as, you see, a status symbol these days.
Well, certainly a lot of people are racing over to Pune, India, to find this chap who was over here kicked out of the country with his 95 Rolls Royces, and he now has the entourage of medical doctors, psychiatrists. Yes. He has lawyers, attorneys, politicians, all coming to him.
Yeah, but that, you see, if one fool leaves, there are always other fools to take our place there, you see. So as long as there is a demand, so long these people stay in business. I don't want to say anything against a particular teacher like Rajneesh or those who are in the marketplace selling the spiritual goodies.
Why not?
But I'm not interested because basically, essentially and fundamentally, my interest is only to emphasize that what I have come into, what I have stumbled into, and not to try to free anybody from their teachers, from their beliefs or their particular religious background. That's not my interest. It's just to focus, spotlight that what I have stumbled into is something which is extraordinary for me. Since it is not in the area of an experience, it is something that cannot be shared with anybody. And as a matter of fact, this cannot be fitted into any value system. I have no value for whatever I have stumbled into or whatever I have discovered, and it has no value for the society.
What you have stumbled into.
Yes. So it's there, you see. I don't care whether you listen to me or not, whether they reject what I am saying as absurd nonsense. It doesn't interest me. So that is why when I appear on shows like that, you see, I feel that I have really, really nothing to say. And it is highly presumptuous on my part to accept these invitations, but it's up to you to bring out whatever you want to bring out from this conversation,
Okay.
if you want to call it a conversation. And this is something like, you say, a highly perfected instrument, you see, highly perfected instrument. It is singularly incapable of striking any false note. So if you notice any false notes here, I'm not blaming you. It's because what you are trying, you see, how you are trying to play this instrument. So I really, frankly, honestly, I have nothing to say to you or to anybody. As I said, it's highly presumptuous on my part to sit here and to carry on this dialogue or conversation with you. But the only way this can, you see, if I say this can, you see, it sounds mystifying. You see, the only way any expression can be made of the way this living organism is functioning is through your medium. So whatever comes out of this is yours and not mine, and I have nothing to do with it.
But you're certainly attracting a lot of attention by what you have to say, by your philosophies, by, you know, the way you state things. It's like doing mental aerobics with people. It's like letting them do a dance with inside their mind.
It's up to them to do what they like with what I'm saying, you see. And if they repeat what I'm saying, unfortunately, they become my followers. I have no following at all, you see. People ask me why you are constantly moving. I don't want anybody to stick to me, you see, because I have nothing to offer. If they presume that they are getting something out of their contact with me or making some sense, some meaning out of what I am saying, it is their tragedy. I don't want to give any opportunity to them to make them feel.
But then why do you even come out in the public or anything? Why don't you, I mean, some people say, well, Eugene, why don't you just find a beautiful home in the wilderness and stay there and
You will be surprised, even if I run away and hide myself,
people are going to find you?
jungle people are somehow going to find where I am and they will come there.
Now,
It's not that I have something extraordinary or anything, you see. This is something which they feel, they see, that there is something here which they think may be right.
well, you give some sort of a charisma automatically.
I don't do anything. Whatever they do with what I'm saying.
By not doing is what you're giving off.
But you see, unfortunately, remaining silent is one of the traditional ways of communicating things. That's in India, you see.
It also attracts
attention. If I don't
attention.
say anything, people will still come and sit around me, and they say that they are getting something from me. I tell them, whatever you experience in my presence is your own creation, and I have no part to play in that. But still they don't believe that. You don't know what we are getting. The tremendous energy that we feel in your presence is something extraordinary. There is no point in your denying it. I deny that, and I have no part to play. I cannot take any credit for whatever experiences they experience in my presence. They can go and tell others, but I'm certain If I am certain of anything, it is that I play no part in their experiences, which they feel in my company.
Well,
yes, sorry.
Could it be, I'm sorry, could it be that you are a mirror reflecting back where they are?
I don't like that phrase at all. You see, they have no way of looking into this mirror. It is reflecting exactly the way the things are. See, it is not distorting.